Well, here it is, 2016. Seems like every time a year ends and a new year starts, we look over the things that happened prophecy wise, and then we anticipate the things that might come to be. I kind of get tired of those lists, actually. So this is almost a way of making fun of that. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the top 10 prophetic events that are not going to happen in 2016. You ready for those? All right, we're going to work our way backwards, okay? First one is this: new heavens and new earth. That is not going to happen in 2016. I mean, there's so many things that have to happen before we have a new heaven and new earth, right? The Millennial Reign, the 70th week of Daniel. I mean, man, we got years and years and years and years and years before the new heaven and the new earth are created. So, hey, we can check that one off. That's not going to happen in 2016. No new heaven and new earth. All right. So, number 9, the great white throne judgment. That's found in Revelation chapter 20. And that is involving everybody who is involved in the second resurrection, which is the bad resurrection. Those that are resurrected to the second death. And so they are resurrected after the millennial reign. They go through the great white throne judgment. They confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, fulfilling the scripture that says every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. So, and then they are thrown into the lake of fire. That is the second death. And so that's the great white throne judgment. That is not going to happen in 2016. Confident, guaranteed, not going to happen. Number 8, the millennial reign of Jesus. The 1,000 year, the day of the Lord, the millennial reign of Jesus is not going to start in 2016. Why? Well, there's some things that have to happen before that's going to occur, right? At least the 70th week of Daniel. Other things have to happen too, if you just get into Daniel and the prophecies of Daniel. So the millennial reign of Jesus is not going to start in 2016. Guaranteed, confident, 100%. All right. Number 7, the return of Jesus on the white horse to be the deliverer of Israel. Not going to happen. Why? That's Revelation 19. I think that starts in verse 11, but Revelation 19. And that happens at the end of the 70th week of Daniel. And that actually brings to an end the time of the Gentiles, the time of the Gentile rule over Jerusalem. Jesus sets up his kingdom, and no longer do the Gentiles rule over Jerusalem. So that happens Revelation 19, guaranteed not going to happen in 2016. Number 6, the destruction of Babylon. Now, as far as I know, now some people want to make New York City Babylon, some people want to make America Babylon. Man, I can't believe the insanity of it. Anyways, look, let's just say Babylon is Babylon, and there's going to be a resurrected Babylon. Right? Why is that so hard to believe? I believe it's going to happen that way, and it's going to be the commerce, cultural center of the reign of the Antichrist. And but it has to be established, whatever that is. It's not whatever Babylon's going to be. Okay, whatever you want to believe. The destruction of Babylon that happens in Revelation 18 is not going to happen in 2016. All right, so that's number 6. Number 5, the wrath of God is not going to be poured out upon the earth. Guaranteed, 100% not going to happen in 2016. How do you know that? Because that doesn't happen until the 7th seal is opened in Revelation chapter 8, and that happens in my eschatology as I teach it. That happens during the 7th year of the 70th week of Daniel. So we got so many other things that need to happen before that would even occur. So the wrath of God is not going to be poured out. That's the trumpet judgments. That's the bowl judgments, all of that. None of that's going to happen this year. It's not going to happen. 100% guaranteed. Putting my reputation, actually I don't guess I have a reputation as a prophet, but if I did, I'm putting that reputation on the line. Okay? All right. So that's number 5. Number 4, the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation is, well, anyways, that's the last 3.5 years of the 70th week of Daniel, the Great Tribulation, okay? And it's not, so we have to have the first 3.5 years before we can have the second 3.5 years, right? And we know that the Great Tribulation starts when the Antichrist goes into the temple and stops the sacrificing. Well, all right, there's two clues right there. A, there's no temple. Hello. B, they're not sacrificing. The Jews aren't sacrificing. That hasn't been resumed. So, that's a long way away. That's in the second 3.5 years. So guaranteed that the Great Tribulation is not going to start in the year 2016. All right, number 3, the Abomination of Desolation. That is what we were just talking about. The Antichrist goes into the temple, sets up an image of the beast, and there's all kinds of back and forth about is that a demonic image? Is that an image? What that image is? It doesn't matter. Is it an image of a man? I don't think it matters. I really don't care. What he does is he sets up an image of a beast and demands that people worship it. And the false prophet demands that the people worship this image as well. Well, that happens right at the midpoint of the 70th week of Daniel, or some people call it a lot of people call it the tribulation. It happens right at the midpoint. So there's 3.5 years that have to occur, 1,260 days, 42 months, that have to happen before that happens, okay? From the beginning of the 70th week of Daniel until that point. We haven't begun the 70th week of Daniel. So guaranteed, 100%, that the Abomination of Desolation is not going to happen in 2016. All right, what does that bring us down to? Oh, I lost my place. Oh, yeah, right. The destruction of Israel and Jerusalem. Oh, check it out. So there's a lot of stuff in the news, right, about Israel is, what's going on with them, and Iran wants to wipe Israel off the map. And look, the people, the Jews have returned to Israel. It is a nation, and it will remain a nation. In fact, the Bible tells us that the beginning of the 70th week of Daniel is kicked off when the Antichrist signs a treaty with Israel and the surrounding neighbors, the Muslim countries, a peace treaty that is signed, a 7-year peace treaty. That's when the 70th week of Daniel starts. So Israel won't be destroyed prior to that. It's not going to happen. Guaranteed, no matter how much anybody wants to throw bombs or try to threaten to throw bombs at Israel, Israel will be able to defend themselves. Okay? They will do it. And they are not going to be destroyed in 2016. Now, I'm not saying they won't be at war. In fact, I anticipate they will be at war in 2016. I look for that every day, quite frankly. I've been looking for that all of 2015. But they will not be destroyed. Israel will not be wiped off the face of the earth in 2016. And finally, drum roll please, the last prophetic event that is not going to occur in 2016 is the rapture. The rapture is not going to happen in 2016. I know. Most of you are out there going, oh, no, it could happen anytime. False. Cannot happen at any time. And I hate to be this way, but I'm just really tired of playing this game. The rapture cannot happen at any time. There are so many other things that need to occur prior to the rapture happening. The rapture is found in Revelation chapter 7. Or if you're post-trib, I think it's found in Revelation chapter 14 or something like that. I'm not sure. But it is after 6 of the seals, at the end of the 6th seal, the sign of the coming of the Lord, Revelation chapter 6, right at the end, then we are shown the sealing of the 144,000. Before the wrath of God is poured out, we are shown this great multitude from every nation, tribe, and tongue that comes out of the great tribulation. Out of the what? The Great Tribulation, that's what it says in Revelation chapter 7. They come out of the Great Tribulation, and they are appearing in heaven, and then voila, 7th seal is undone, and the wrath of God begins to be poured out. A lot of stuff has to happen before that happens, okay? So the rapture, guaranteed, I guarantee you, the rapture will not happen. We'll revisit this at the beginning of 2017, should we all be alive, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll revisit. and we'll look at it again, all right? But I guarantee you it is not going to happen in the year 2016, all right? So what will happen? I expect that Israel will go to war at some point. I believe that Israel will be at war this year. I think we should be looking for the fulfillment of Daniel 7 and 8. Iran kind of being more aggressive in the Middle East. I would anticipate even an Iran-Turkey war that could happen. That's really the next thing prophetically that needs to be occurring, is that Iran sweeps across the Middle East. And this is Daniel chapter 8. Sweeps across the Middle East, and then Turkey. So you got Shia Sunni kind of thing happening, right? And Turkey will then go to war and actually conquer Iran and take over the Middle East. We see dividing up into four and so forth. I don't want to get into that now. We'll have a video about that later. But that's the kind of things that we should be looking for right now. Watch Iran, see what they do in the Middle East this year, and watch Turkey. Keep your eye on Turkey, because the movement is afoot. And for those of us who have been believing this for a long time, so many more people are joining into the party, and I'm so grateful that they are. But the mood is changing, and no more are people believing that the Antichrist is going to come out of the European Union. They are now understanding that the Bible tells us clearly that he will come out of Turkey. That's what we need to be watching for. Watch Iran and Turkey this year. 2016. Top 10 prophetic events that will not happen in 2016. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have an exciting year. I believe we will. And we need to be praying every day for God's perfect will to be done.